Hello and welcome to the Fergie's Gum podcast, the podcast show that chews over everything Manchester United. My name's Nathan and I'm joined today by my good friend
Ahmad,
who is first-time podcaster.
Yeah, first time.
First-time podcaster, but big Manchester United fan.
Yeah, so I don't know, like 20 years now?
20 years.
15 actually, yeah.
And you're only 21.
No, not 21.
So you've been supporting them for 20 years. I've been supporting them for, the best part of 35. So yeah, quite a long time. But felt it was about the right time to start a podcast. I've done podcasts before, and I've done mostly video games podcasts. But this, as I said before, this is your first time ever doing anything like this. Why are we doing this podcast, would you say?
Probably just to let out all the frustration that we have watching this team for the past 10 years.
I couldn't agree more with that statement, because I was trying to think about it today, and I was like, why are we doing this podcast? And it's just got to the point now where I just can't keep it in anymore. I mean, I send you like basically a novel's worth of WhatsApp messages complaining about after every game, so I think this is probably the best way to get it all out there. But the other thing as well is we don't want it to just be like completely negative. I'm sure there's enough podcasts out there right now, Manchester United ones, that are just complaining. But it is hard to shake that feeling that things aren't going too well. Especially since we had such a nice summer where Ineos came in, we signed a lot of different players, a lot of good players, a lot of young players, and then into the first 3 games of the season. And we're recording this a week, 2 weeks after the Liverpool result.
10 days, yeah.
Yeah, which is still burning inside me. What did you think what have you thought of the first 3 games, by the way?
Like you said, we had a really good summer. We went into the season like full of hope, optimism, a new start. Yeah.
And then the games, like, what have you actually thought?
Yeah.
Have you seen any difference in it?
Actually, I thought we looked better, like structure-wise.
Okay.
But like I think the main issues that we had last season are still there. So like nothing has changed. I don't know if that's because maybe like we're playing the same players still, or the new players still haven't adapted. But yeah, I don't just, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't remember the last time we won the first 3 games of the season. I have no idea.
I was surprised to find, I was listening to the Talk of the Devils podcast yesterday from The Athletic, and the stat on there was last season we lost 3 of the first 5 games as well. And I mean, I've basically tried to scrub that from my brain, like, because I don't want to start the season like that again. But Southampton on Sunday, which we'll get to. Is it Sunday? Saturday, which we'll get to towards the end of the show, but it's like tricky fixture just because of the way that United are playing at the moment.
Yeah, and we never seem to play well when we're away.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's the optimism out of the way. I don't know. I don't imagine there'll be much more of it as the season comes on. But the one thing that I am happy about is the profile of the player that we've signed this season. So, like, Yoro, even though he's injured, is young. He will grow into that role at centre-back. De Ligt is already a leader. I feel like he'll be perfect. I feel like, I don't know who's going to play out of him and Yoro. I guess they're going to fight for that position, right?
Yeah. Actually, I think, I don't know, maybe Ten Hag has an idea to play Lisandro at left-back. I think he tried it against City, and he's been playing there for Argentina in the past 2 games.
Would you play him there?
Only because we don't have a proper left back now. I hate the idea of the left back being right-footed. So you lose a lot of potential when you're building up the play.
So. But that's the one thing that I would say about, like, whenever I think about Martinez in the position where he plays, it's like I don't want. He doesn't have the speed to get up and down the pitch. So he's like, I don't think he brings anything forward when he does play at left back.
I think there could be an idea of him playing, like how City play Ake or Guardiola on the left.
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying that. And like he's very good with the ball, so he can drop into midfield as well. Yeah, so like that's not a bad idea.
I think
you're on Delict in the middle,
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting point actually, because it was noticed for the England the other day, Rico Lewis, when he was playing for England, Gordon was bombing on and waiting for an overlap, but because he's been drilled by Pep Guardiola, he just tucked in and just stayed there. Like there was no overlapping. So yeah, you could be right there. But the other signings that we've made, Ugarte, who we're yet to see, seems like a good player. Don't know why we didn't go for him before. Xerxes, who seems very like a classy player, but just not up to speed yet. And who was the other one that we signed? Was there one more? Was that it?
Yeah, 5 players. Right? Xerxes, Ugarte, Delict. Mazraoui as well. Yeah.
Mazraoui, yes, who seems to have settled in nicely straight away. But he was always a good player anyway at Bayern. Surprised we got him for such a cheap price.
He seemed good the first 3 games. I heard a lot of people saying he was one of the best players against Liverpool, but I don't know. I don't see that. I don't know about you.
No, I mean, I was watching through my fingers, so it was hard to see anything for the Liverpool game. But I think he's settled in nicely. I think one of his the way that he's playing at the moment is what I would describe as playing within himself. He doesn't want to make mistakes, so he's not prepared to do that little push forward a bit further. But I think once he's settled, I think he'll be fine, and whoever plays on the left back will obviously complement him. Actually, left and right back.
Who would you play on the right? Like if Shaw was fit on the left, so it's either Dalot or Mazraoui on the right.
I guess Dalot would start for me for now. But they would compete for that position, like he did do with Wan-Bissaka over the last few seasons, and it drew the best out of Dalot.
Sure.
But I still think he needs to have someone to compete with, and then if his form drops off, then you replace him with like for like. That's how it seems anyway. The left side is obviously a problem because Shaw's legs are made of twigs and dreams, and Malacia is, I don't know, where is he? Somewhere.
No one knows.
No one knows. Okay, so it's been hard to miss. Ronaldo, the ghost of Old Trafford, has returned again to haunt Erik ten Hag, this time through the media. In fact, no, the last time was through the media as well, with, what's he called?
Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan, yes. Well, he's criticising Manchester United again and kind of hinting towards ten Hag not being the right man for the job, but now he's got Ruud van Nistelrooy there, like almost hinting that there's a succession plan in place by Ineos. But have you read the quotes at all?
Yeah, I have. I've seen them last night. I don't think Ronaldo cares much about United right now. Like I don't think he's watching or like looking at what they're actually doing now. I think it's just basing his comments on what he had when he was there. And of course, I don't think his relationship with Ten Hag has been good. So no way he'd like be positive about that.
Yeah, it does seem weird, like, and the timing seems very odd as well. Like because obviously Ferdinand, it's Rio Ferdinand that's interviewed him, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Rio Ferdinand interviewed him recently, which I think is up on their platform now on 5. And obviously, the United connection is going to draw out some more conversation about Manchester United with Ronaldo.
For sure.
But it just seems it seems odd. Like it almost seems like it was manufactured to kind of pile on Erik ten Hag, like with everything that's happening. Oh, prod him a little bit, prod Ronaldo a little bit, get him to say those things he said to Piers. And it just feels like really strange and like absolutely no need for it at all. However, the thing that has been highlighted with the modern day footballer weaponising social media is Garnacho liking some of the comments on Instagram that Ronaldo had been quoted as saying.
I don't think that's the first time Garnacho has done something like that.
No.
Yeah, like I think he liked another tweet like last season. I can't remember what was it.
It was about I can't believe he's been taken off or something like that.
Yeah. Something that has to do with the manager as well.
Yeah, but there's an increasing popularity of like players taking to social media to complain. I mean, look at Sancho.
Yeah.
He's not even at the club anymore. But that all came through social media. They're right to respond to what he said, or to what Ten Hag had said about him. But I don't know, like, because Garnacho hasn't been playing as often either. So there's clearly something still there, because he seems to prefer Ahmad as his right winger right now, and Rashford, who's terribly out of form. And I don't know. He's clearly got an issue, and he doesn't need Ronaldo coming in and saying anything.
For sure. Yeah, regarding Garnacho and Rashford, maybe if you want to go over that point, he played him versus Liverpool, and the system that Ten Hag wants to play, the right winger has to be left-footed. Like I don't get playing the Garnacho on the right. Yeah. And then there's nothing. It was non-existent the right side. Yeah. When Ahmad plays, at least he can cut in. He can also drop into the 10. Yeah. With his left foot, he can link up play better. So if you want to play Garnacho, it has to be on the left, and Rashford has to drop out.
Because the other person that you've got there as well, and I know he's not the hottest topic right now, but Anthony he's left-footed. He's so left-footed that it's so predictable when you play him on the right that he's going to have to cut back and then cross it. And we don't have any service in the box right now with Xerxes and Højlund, and last season it was McTominay. So there's no crosses coming in. There was no service for them at all. I know we're slightly going off topic from the Ronaldo thing here, but it was with all of these things, I guess they all combine. So we're not playing very well. Manager's already under fire as well. And then Ronaldo sits in a booth with Rio Ferdinand and starts slagging off the team again. It just can't help. And I do wonder, I do often wonder what Ronaldo's legacy will be like at Old Trafford. We always get players coming back as ambassadors, like Schmeichel and Scholes and Brian McClare. Even if they went off to play for rivals. I mean, Peter Schmeichel went to play for Man City, of course. But I wonder how he's going to be welcomed back, or if he ever will be welcomed back after the damage that he caused on the way out last time. What do you think?
I think when you reach Ronaldo's level, there's no way the fans would ever turn against you, no matter what. And the United fans are very emotional, so one word from Ronaldo just changes everything. So he said that he still loves the club, and I think that's enough. Everyone's okay, Haas, we forgive you, that's okay.
How did you feel when he did that first interview?
I wasn't surprised, right, to be honest, at all. It seemed it was obvious that he wanted to leave, and that he had issues with Ten Hag. So it all started. It all started when he left at half time. Remember, at the preseason game. Yeah. So that's when I realized he's gonna be a bad influence on the team. Also when. He also left halftime, at the end of the game versus Spurs, I think. Yeah. It's all coming back to me now. Yeah. Again, I tried to scrub that from my brain because it was a difficult period. I mean, I don't think there's been any nice periods during the last 10 years. Yeah. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Ronaldo, whether he'll be welcomed back as an official ambassador. The fans, you can say about the fans will always love him, but him coming back in an official capacity where they're parading him on the pitch, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. It's weird actually, because I feel like after he missed out on the Ballon d'Or list, him and Messi, for the first time in 20 years or something like that. There does seem to be more stories coming out about him. He seems to be in the press more. There was a complete non-story about when he was going to retire. The story was, I'm not planning to retire. It's okay, is that a story? It doesn't feel like a story.
Yeah, I think the main story was he was planning to retire once he reaches 1,000 goals. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's all on his to make his YouTube channel just blow up, which worked, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the most followed or subscribed users on YouTube. Crazy, yeah, it was insane. But I do feel like it's like that. I don't know, like a handsome man or handsome woman, beautiful woman, like trying to hold on to her looks. He's trying to hold on to his relevance, like in the world of football. Like Messi's kind of gone the more like silent route. He's not really bothered about it, to my knowledge. Anyway, I don't follow him in great detail. But Ronaldo going to Saudi, bringing all these players to Saudi, talking about his career, constantly still playing for Portugal at a high level, still scoring for Portugal at a high level. Just it always feels like any opportunity he gets to remind the world that he's still around and he's still great, he's going to take it.
Even when he retires, he's going to find a way to do that.
Yeah.
So he's that kind of person. And this is what got him to the level he's at now. So, yeah, fair play to him.
Nice, easy question for you. Is Erik ten Hag the right man for Manchester United?
No idea. I don't know. I love Ten Hag, to be honest. I've always thought, ever since he came, even last year, I was like, if someone's going to take us back to the top, it's going to be him.
What is it that you like about him?
I think he's a really good manager, and I think I love how much he cares about discipline, which I think we lacked in the past.
Very true.
And how when he wants something to happen, he's just like he doesn't care what anyone else would think. Like biggest example is Cristiano Ronaldo situation, Sancho. So I think we needed that. We lacked that a lot, and like he won us 2 trophies, and he was good with Ajax. So I don't know, like I have a soft spot for him, to be honest. So I think
I keep swinging from one side to the other. Like towards the end of last season, before we went on that run of like 4 games where we won towards the end of the season, and then we beat City in the final, in the FA Cup final. Before that run, I was like, out. Get him out. Like let's just move on. Like nothing's going to change with him in charge. And then we had that like spell of like 5 games that culminated in the FA Cup final victory, and went into this season just kind of thinking, he's done it. He's finally cracked it. Add a few players in that he wants, if he stays at this point in time, and he'll be fine. And it'll be great. And we've entered this season and there's no real identity to the team whatsoever. It's the same mistakes as before. Like, I know you can point out like it's the same 2 players that are playing, but Casemiro and Mainu in the middle of the park, there's no cover for them ever. And there's just total, like, there's gaps in between them all the time. Mainu's having to cover for Casemiro, who I don't know what's happening with him right now. It feels like he's gone. It feels like he's retired on the field, and his body's just not doing what his mind wants to anymore. But the way that we set up, there's just gaps everywhere, and it was disappointing to hear Arne Slot coming on TV afterwards and talking about how easy it was to break down Man United and what the game plan was, because that's not the first time that's happened. Teams come out and they brag about it. Like players from Bournemouth did it last season, or the season before. And as much as I want it to work out for him, it's like, how much time do you give him before you decide we got to do something else? And who is that someone else?
I think his stubbornness is going to be his downfall. Like it's obvious to everyone what the issues are, and I never saw him trying to change anything with the way we play. Even like last year when we went on this run to like we were losing 3-0 to Bournemouth, 4-0 to Crystal Palace. He kept on doing the same mistakes, and he's doing it again this year. So like we saw against Brighton, we were not bad, but we lost. Against Liverpool at home, like he went with the same. You can't go against Liverpool with that midfield. I don't know. But to be fair, like he doesn't have anyone else to play except for Casemiro, and I think this. The number 6 role,
Ugarte.
So like for Ten Hag's system, it's very important for this player to be like so good.
But then the issue then is that you're pinning your entire season on one player staying fit. And I know he has an incredible record for staying fit, Ugarte. Like he's got an engine on him. He's like Ji-sung Park. He can keep going all day. But what if he gets injured? Then who's that number 6 then? You have to go back to Casemiro. You have to play...
I'd actually play Collier, to be honest.
I guess Collier's the option, yeah. But if everything is hinging on this one player,
This is
that's not great.
This is the problem with Ten Hag. So like he plays a system that requires at least 9 out of the 11 to be like amazing.
Yeah.
So,
but what do you think? Is it Rene Hake, and Van Nistelrooy obviously that have come in? What contribution, if any, do you think they're having to this current squad? Because if we're still playing the same as before, is he actually listening to them? Are they just waiting for him to leave? Like, because it would obviously be Van Nistelrooy who takes over in the interim if he was to be fired, clearly. But I just can't. I can't see what their input is. Like either from Jason Wilcox, who's come in, who's supposed to have this vision for how we should be playing. The new coaching staff. How are we letting him do this?
Yeah, I think this is the problem. Most of the fans have with Ten Hag right now, that he's been here almost, this is his 3rd season, and there's no identity. Like, what style of play? What's our style of play? Like, if I ask you what's our style of play, what would you say?
Quick counter attacks very dangerously.
Yeah, but that doesn't work when you play Mount and Bruno as like your number 10 and 9.
That works when you're a cup team.
Maybe.
Yeah, in knockout stages where it can be where you make things chaotic and then you hit them on the break, like against Liverpool when we beat them 4-3. But as a permanent strategy for a league champion, that is not going to work at all.
I think what he wants to go for is not counter-attacking as much as like pressing really high up the pitch and winning the ball there, forcing mistakes from the opponent and trying to score. But even that doesn't work because once the other team breaks the first line,
and it's so easy.
It's so easy. That's the thing. And once they break that, like he's been playing 4-2-4.
Yeah. So
once he breaks the first 4, the 2 in the middle are like Casemiro and Meno.
Yeah.
None of them can actually cover ground. So even the fullbacks would be actually way up the pitch. So that's very easy for teams to score.
But the other thing as well is like when you're just saying about the pressing, when they press, they don't all go at the same time. Like when you watch Liverpool press, when you watch Barcelona press, when you watch like any of the top sides pressing, they do it as a unit and they go like, right, everyone off to the right, everyone off to the left, everyone like forward onto the defenders, onto the midfielders, and there's some sort of cohesion to it. When we do it, furthest man forward, who's the furthest man forward every single time in these first 3 games?
Bruno and Mount.
Yeah, exactly. Bruno and Mount, right? Because we didn't start a striker for the first 2 games of the season. But even when we're pressing with Xerxes on the pitch against Liverpool, he was coming back into defence and midfield, and there was no outlet. Yeah. So there was nothing, and it was like we've played enough football just at our level to know like if there's no organisation, forget it. Like you might as well just go on because you're just going to get beaten, especially if the other team is organised. And there was just not that. There just didn't look like there was any organisation. It was like put the players out onto the pitch, hope for the best, and we've done that for 10 years.
So yeah, I agree, to be honest. I think the only difference I saw with the team this year and last year was maybe we were pressing a bit better the first 2 games. Against Fulham we were pressing, and that's because Mount was there. Yeah, Mount, like he knows when to press, how to press. Against Liverpool we saw like Xerxes, he was good with Bologna last year in pressing, but I don't think he's still. I don't know. It's not easy to pick up the pressing triggers with the whole team so fast.
But that's the other thing as well, though. Like if you picked up Xerxes and put him into that Liverpool side, I think he would be having a great time.
Yeah, for sure.
Like because everyone else is organised around him.
For sure. Yeah.
Whereas, like we're seeing new managers. Who was it? The Brighton guy.
Fabian Hurst.
He's like 18 or whatever he is, but he's in position and gave Ten Hag a lesson with a new squad, new players, gave him a lesson on that. And then Arne Slot, who obviously knows him from Ajax. I don't know if did they ever compete together in the Eredivisie?
2 or 4 games.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like he obviously knows how to play against him. As you said very early on in this conversation, he's too stubborn to change the way that he does. So if the game plan is always there and they always know what it's going to be, I'll go back to the original question, is Ten Hag the right person for the job?
Every passing game, the answer becomes like I lean more towards no. Unfortunately, even like as much as I want him to succeed, there's no way like you can stay, especially like having 3 points out of the first 9, and now that to be honest, I don't see us getting much points from the next games. Southampton away, I don't see us winning that. Maybe draw. Villa away, I think Villa away, right?
Yeah, I think
like in 5 games or something.
I think it's something like, I mean, I could check this now, but I'm too lazy to do it. I think it is Southampton, then
Crystal Palace.
No, in the league it is, but we've got like a game
Barnsley,
against Barnsley, then Porto, I want to say.
No, I think it's Southampton, Barnsley, Crystal Palace, 20.
Yeah, Spurs as well are in this run.
And then 2 more games. I think one of them is Villa away.
So I would say after those games we're heading towards November, December, when I'm pretty sure that's when Solskjaer got fired, the same period, and when Mourinho got fired as well. And I think you're shaking your head. Do you not think he'll be gone by Christmas? Do you think he'll last the season? That's a better question.
No.
Right.
Like it just it depends like that, because he's on a very thin line right now.
Yeah.
So like I'm telling you, if he doesn't win at least 5 out of the next 6 games before the next international break, which I think is, I don't know, October, end of October or something like that, I think he's gonna be gone by then.
See, I think if he loses against Southampton, I think he's gone. Like if it's a capitulation where we get hammered 3-0, I think that will be enough.
No way that happens.
No?
I say that, but like it could happen.
That's
it's
wishful
very easily
thinking.
happen.
Exactly. Because they're expecting Ugarte to come in and just.
The thing is, like, even that goes back to how stubborn he is. Like, he's not gonna play Ugarte, even though Ugarte played 90 minutes twice in the past, I don't know, like 10 days. Yeah,
that is a weird thing that he keeps doing. He keeps saying it's going to be months for him to bed in, and it's like, are there any players in the Premier League now that are playing that came in at the start of the season and are already performing? Yeah, pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
Like Brighton had like a few new players that came in, and they were, they were all playing well. Was it not Adringer? Minter, and he's flying. So
I don't know.
I know it's a difficult technical position, but he's got to play.
Even though like when Anthony came, he was straight into the team, and like he had like 2 days training. So I don't know. He's gonna play Casemiro on Saturday. I'm 100% sure.
So we're still, the official line is we are undecided on whether
undecided. Yeah, undecided.
Who should United build their team around, or their squad? For the next, let's talk about. I mean, you came out with Kobbie Mainoo straight away.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's talk about like the future, because I think a lot of the time, if we look back on the squads that have been created from the different managers that we've had over the last 10 years, we have been looking for, I would say, and you might disagree, short-term gains. Mm-hmm. So the players that we've bought, the profiles that we've bought, has always been about, we need success now. I think Ineos have changed that this season. So where before we was buying a Juan Mata, Fellaini, Van Persie, I mean, no, let's not include Van Persie, Cavani, Ibrahimovic, where we was buying players towards the end of their careers or at the peak, we seem to have changed that philosophy to be buying young players that can come into the team eventually. So we've bought Kone, the young lad from, is he Ghanaian?
I think he's Malian.
I'm glad you're here because my geography is terrible. And Chido Obi-Martin.
Yeah.
But has he signed yet?
Not
the other
yet.
one.
I think they're waiting for the
Tribunal.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
Okay. And then Yoro. And even Delit is still young, you know?
Yeah, and Xerxes.
And Xerxes as well, yeah. But then who do you... If you had to pick like 3 players to build the team around, who would it be?
So
you said Mainu, so you can explain why
sure,
Mainu.
Yeah, Mainu. Well, I don't think I need to explain. Like everyone knows how good this kid is. Like he's I don't know. He's crazy on the ball, off the ball, for his age, the maturity he has. One, like, if I want to point out something with him is like we can't expect him to be like the all-rounder number 8 or 6 or whatever, because that would require. I don't think he has the legs to cover that much ground.
Yeah, he's not very fast.
Yeah, he's not very fast. He's not. And like he gets. I don't know. I feel like he's always started like by minute 70 or 75. But that goes back to how we're structured as a team. I think.
Yeah. And he's played a lot of games for a 19-year-old.
And I really hope whoever's in charge, if it's Ten Hag or anyone else, they find a way to not just not play him every single game, because that's gonna burn him out so quick.
I think with Mainu as well, like we're still yet to find his best position.
Yeah.
I know he's been playing as a 6 and he's played as 8, but I feel like he's going to be more effective further up the pitch.
Yeah.
Like rather than cleaning up. Obviously, that's why we've got Ugarte, which I think will take the shackles off Casemiro and Mainu by being the person like the water carrier, as they used to call. Was it Djorkaeff for France? That's a long time ago. Kante. But yeah, you know, having that person that just does all of the busy work will take the pressure off. But right now, as you say, Mainu is being asked to play a really tough position and cover for someone whose legs have gone.
Yeah.
And also expected to deliver on the goal front as well, like because goals are few and far between with the rest of the team.
Yeah,
so
even though like his partner, like Casemiro, hasn't been very helpful this season, Mainu has. I think he has the most dribbles completed this season out of all the players. And most interceptions out of anyone.
Challenges, like one-on-ones. And you know the weirdest thing about watching, or I guess is it weird, watching Mainu play alongside Casemiro. Mainu, 19 years old, less than 50 games under his belt, whatever it is. Casemiro, well decorated Real Madrid star, Brazil star at Manchester United. Mainu's the one having to shout at him and tell him to calm down.
Yeah.
Because he just keeps trying to play these Hollywood passes all the time. Which, I guess, on the plus side of that, it shows that Mainu is like built for leadership as well. Like he's not afraid to tell people like what they should and shouldn't be doing to get the best out of the game. So I think you're absolutely right, and I think obviously we both agree on that one.
Yeah, I think everyone does. Yeah.
Mainu was gonna be the one. Second one.
You go for it.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I think obviously Yoro, because I think he's got the potential to be the Rio Ferdinand that we never replaced. Like that ball playing centre back.
What do you mean? Like Smalling wasn't good enough?
I mean, is he in Saudi now? He's in Saudi, right?
Yeah, I think yeah. Somewhere there.
He, you know what? I like Chris Smalling. I don't mind him at all. And he had a good career at Roma.
No, I think he was good. No, he was good. Even at United, he was very good.
He was good at Man United as well, but it's just... I think the pressure of being the next Rio Ferdinand and constantly living in his shadow, I don't think it did him any favours. I think there's enough time that has passed between Rio Ferdinand now to have another Rio Ferdinand placed in there, in the same way that Martinez is the new Vidic, you know, ish. But Yoro has that potential to be the calming figure that brings the ball out. Because right now with Onana, if you watch him when he gets the ball, he does like set your heart on edge. Like, you know, he's like, oh my God, what's he going to do? And he does play clever passes sometimes. But these last few games, his distribution has just been hit it long.
Yeah.
Hit it to the wings, ball comes back, they score.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like someone like Yoro, from what I've seen of him, like I'll admit I haven't seen a great deal of him, but he likes to receive the ball in those tight spaces and bring it out and distribute and keep going, like with the athleticism to get further up the pitch and cause problems, because he's dragging a forward all the way with him, or he's dragging another midfielder out with him and creating space. And I just think that him and Mainu as the two parts of the spine, I think that's what you want to build around.
I was gonna say Euro as well.
Okay.
I agree with everything you just said, but I didn't say him because like I don't want to get too attached, because I know he's gonna go to Real Madrid in like a few years.
I think we're all thinking that, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't picked Garnacho.
Yeah, you think it's gonna go as well?
Yeah.
I think there's more chance Garnacho stays than Euro. For sure.
Really?
Yeah, Garnacho. I don't know, from the academy as well, and I don't think Madrid will need him that much in the next year.
I think he wants to follow the Ronaldo path.
Yeah,
and because obviously he's his idol and he wants to do what he did, and you know, Ronaldo will be in his ear talking about like how great Real Madrid is. I mean, no one needs to be told that. But yeah, I could see a future where Euro and Garnacho are both at Real Madrid, but I think we got Euro at a time when, if he does have the right advisors around him, we can, I want to say manipulate, brainwash, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. I think he could become a hero for the Stretford end and like the fans. And I think that once you make that connection with fans, it's very difficult to go. Ronaldo was always, I want that next
step. Especially because he's
all about
Portuguese as well.
Yeah. It was all about him. He always wanted to do what he wanted to do in his career. I get that. But I think someone like Euro, I think you can convince them that they are the mainstay of this.
I think the only club that can convince you to leave United is Real Madrid. So, and I think there aren't many good like young central backs in the world like, who have Euro's potential. So I think in 5 years, I can very easily see him, especially now, because like he wanted to go to Madrid, but it didn't work out. Yeah. So I can very easily see him going. Garnacho. I don't know. I love Garnacho. I don't know. I don't see him going to Madrid because I don't think they need him, because they have Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo. Yeah. I'm sure Arda Güler as well.
But you never know. They just they come knocking, or he lets his contract run down, and then he disappears. So if we're talking about, we're talking about the players to build around. So we've created a spine. We've got Euro. We've got Mainu. Let's finish off with the striker.
I'd love to say Højlund, but he's so far like he keeps getting injured, so I don't see it. Maybe Chido Obi Martin. I don't know. I haven't seen anything of him, but like for a 16-year-old who's this good, so I'd expect him like 10 years at least. Yeah. When he's 26, he'd be something.
You must have seen the clip of him scoring 10
goals
against Liverpool. Yeah.
That's more than enough for me.
That's greedy for goals. But I think so. I was going to go with like between Xerxes and Højlund, and I've gone with Højlund for like building around him, because yes, he's injury prone. I completely agree, which is obviously a downside to him. However, last season and the one before, he's been there 2 seasons, right? Or no, he arrived last season. Second season now. Last season, he wasn't just competing with himself to try and get like up to speed, get his form going, like, you know, adapt to the Premier League. He was also competing with Scott McTominay, who was in his position pretty much every time he got in the box. And there was a couple of times last season when McTominay scored the goal and Højlund's literally just behind him. You know, there's no guarantees that he would have scored that goal, and McTominay, you know, did what he had to do. However, I think with a clear run now, without McTominay occupying that space, I think he has a chance to really carve out the main man, target man for United. And I'd love to see him like thrive in that position, because I think he's got all the tools.
He does, yeah. He's left-footed, which is I always think is an advantage for a striker.
He's quick as well.
He's very quick. He's very strong. He should work on his like aerial abilities. I think he's tall, he's strong,
Yeah.
he can jump, but like I never see him winning any headers, which
Yeah.
is, I don't know, he should work on that. His right foot is very good. He can link up play.
Yeah.
He can hold up play. Yeah, like maybe he's young. Like last season, I saw him. He was always looking for the fight more than like for the ball. He was always looking to fight the defender, like forgetting about where the ball is. So maybe he should work on that as well.
Because I think he ended up, because McTominay was further forward and at times Bruno was further forward and Rashford on like coming in from the left hand side. I think he felt his position was, you see Harry Kane do this all the time, dropping deep, receiving the ball, like you say, fighting off the player and then trying to play someone else in. But I don't think that's going to be helpful for him moving forward. We want someone that's going to score 20 goals in the Premier League each season. And that has to be someone that is playing further up the pitch. When the ball breaks out, he's there. And that you can afford to leave him further up the pitch. Look at Haaland. You know?
Yeah.
Haaland gets like 5 touches in a game or in a half and scores 3 goals.
Yeah, that guy's a machine.
But there's no reason. Like, he plays football in such a way. It's almost like anti-Guardiola. Like, it's put the ball there and I'll score. And football has kind of morphed into this overcomplicated game these days, where it's like, oh, you know, we need inverted wingers and they have to come from here and the attacker needs to drop deep and play off this guy that's coming in from the left. And sometimes it's just kick the ball in the net. And if Højlund is in those positions to kick the ball in the net, I think he'll do it more often than not.
And I think Xerxes can play the role that dropping in, linking up play, holding up the play. And he's very good at it. I think he's way better than Højlund at that. Højlund can stay further up the pitch. Xerxes can play with him. I really hope Ten Hag tries that. But then why would you play Bruno?
I was just going to say, like, would you go back to those 2 up front?
I wish we do. I wish we would. Yeah.
It does seem strange that we've all just accepted that it can only be one player up front these days, when, you know, back during the glory days of Man United, obviously, we'd often have a pair of strikers on the pitch and a pair of strikers off the pitch. Like, you remember York and Cole, and then you've got Sheringham and Solskjaer.
Even Rooney, Van Persie, Welbeck, Chicharito.
Yeah, exactly. And who else was there?
Tevez, Berbatov.
Tevez, Ronaldo,
Especially when one of those strikers is good at like dropping deep. So when we had Van Persie and Rooney can easily drop in. Like, I don't know, York and Cole. Yeah. One of them always used to drop in tandem
all the time. Like, they worked really well because they was on like an almost telepathic level with each other. But you don't feel like there's any players that play on that same level with each other anymore. Where I think the last time that we saw that, and I might be wrong and you can correct me if I am, the last time we saw that telepathic link between forwards was Pogba and Ibrahimovic. Because when he was clipping balls over to him, and you know, he was always in that right position.
Yeah, actually, I can't remember anyone else.
Because when Bruno looks up,
maybe I don't know, Bruno and Rashford for a while, Bruno and Martial for that small period.
Yeah, Rashford and Shaw.
Rashford and Martial though.
Yeah.
For like the first 3 years when Rashford came.
Yeah, it's hard to remember the good times of Anthony Martial.
He was actually very good, but like
I know he was.
Yeah, I loved him, but
he's gone to Brazil now, right? Has he?
I think the move broke down because he was asking for too much money. Wow. Even Memphis went to Brazil. Imagine, like Martial.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That's sad.
Fun times.
We're gonna preview the upcoming game, Southampton on Saturday, the early kickoff. So how are you feeling about that?
I think the noise should have been a big indicator of how I'm feeling about it. But I can't believe I'm saying this. So 4 games in, but it's a must-win game.
You're right.
It's an absolute must-win game, and in any other season, if this came like 12 games in, 15 games in, whatever it was, I wouldn't feel anything about it at all. But I feel like Southampton will smell blood because of the Liverpool game, and they'll know that Ten Hag is like on the edge, and all they'll have to do is just be busier than United. And I've got a feeling it's going to be a banana peel for us that we're going to slip on. What about you?
So like looking at their form from the beginning of the season, I think they lost all 3 games.
Yeah.
But they were playing well, which I think everyone would disregard. And I always think like we always struggle when we go to St. Mary's. I think, but we won last time when Bruno scored.
I think so, yeah. But they always seem to. It's dangerous playing any of the teams that are down near the bottom when you're supposed to be one of the big teams, because they always raise their game.
Especially when I've never seen United play well when there was sun. Like in the sun, we always seem to lose or draw. I don't know what it is. So I'm not looking forward to that. I don't think we're gonna. I really, like you were saying, it's a must-win game, but I also think it's a must-win game, and we have to put in a proper performance.
Yeah.
So like if we win 1-0, okay, but if it's a scrappy 1-0, nothing's gonna change.
Yeah,
I don't think Ten Hag is gonna have any pressure.
I think that was one of the subjects that they covered on the Athletics Talk of the Devils podcast. They were talking about that doesn't seem to be any identity with the team, and I think that's one of the things that Ineos want. Or they're not Ineos anymore, it's Man United, isn't it? You know, they were Ineos, now they're Manchester United. So the new management want to see some sort of style, and they want to see some sort of consistency with what's been put out there. And I can honestly say, over the last 3 games, apart from the pressing that we talked about earlier, with Mount and Bruno like activating it or triggering it, I haven't seen anything new. It's just been the same thing since last season, just 11 players out there just hoping that something magical happens.
Yeah, like waiting for some individual brilliance from one of the players, Bruno, Maino. Yeah, I don't see where the goals come from as well. Like, this is an issue for the team. I don't see who scores.
And that's one of the main issues, and that's why I think, when we was talking about Ugarte before and about Mainu's position, I think he has to start on Saturday, Ugarte. 100% he has to start, and they need to move him further. Need to move Mainu further up the pitch to be in a position where he can start contributing either to assists or he can score a goal, because we have got 0 goal threat. We know exactly what's going to happen once it goes out to the wings. Rashford is either going to try and take a man on or run into him, as is often the case. Ahmad is another player that I would say is playing within himself right now. I don't think he has let me explain. When he scored his goal at Brighton, he scored it because he took on the defender, so he went at him, but he was closer to the goal than he was often found. So he would usually receive the ball near the halfway line, and he would not go past the defender. He would stop and bring the ball back, which was infuriating. But the longer that went on, the more I realised that his top speed is not very fast at all. Over 10 yards, yes, he's got the quickness to get past players, which is where he found himself in when he scored that goal against Brighton. That 10 yards flew past him. But I think it's predictable as it is on the left-hand side with Rashford. If Ahmad starts, it's going to be the same again. He's going to be slowing down play, bringing it back. I
would slightly disagree with that. I think Ahmad, on the right, when Ahmad played against Fulham and against Brighton, I think the thing with Ahmad is he can go either way. His right foot is actually, I don't know, underrated. And the thing on the right side, because you have Mazraoui always overlapping. Dello doesn't overlap as much, and when he does, Rashford never uses him. I don't know why. So I think, I can't compare Rashford and Ahmad on both sides. Yeah, I had no way. Rashford, I don't know what's wrong with Rashford, because when we're talking about goals, you'd think Rashford should chip in with at least 15 goals, 20 goals.
He's not scored in 9 games, I think. Something like that.
He hasn't had a shot on target this season so far.
He's had some really decent opportunities where he's been in the box and just skied it.
I think it's a confidence thing. Yeah.
Would you start him on Saturday?
I would, just because the other option.
There's no one else.
The other option would be Garnacho, and I think Garnacho is Like he'd probably be jet lagged or something because he's coming back from Argentina. And Rashford has been posting all these videos of him training in the
boxing.
Yeah, like I don't know what that does, but okay.
It shows that he's up for the fight, I think.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, but I'm not. I would start him. I would start Rashford.
So what would your starting 11 be?
So it would be Martinez and De Ligt at the back with Mazraoui on the right, Dalot on the left. So same. Onana in net, obviously. And then I would go Ugarte and Mainu in the middle. I think Casemiro sits on the bench, but I'm not sure Ten Hag would be brave enough to do that. I think he needs to get him back on side, so he'll give him another 45 minutes to try and prove himself. He might even start Ugarte with Casemiro, which would be very strange, but I can see a scenario where that would happen.
Yeah.
But for me, it would be Mainu and Ugarte in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Then it would be Bruno, Rashford, and even though I was just saying that he doesn't have much pace, Ahmad on the right, and then Højlund's still not back, right?
Yeah, I think like he's probably maybe he would get some minutes off the bench.
Xerxes then.
Yeah, and Xerxes has been playing well for Netherlands.
I think what we need to do is as well for that starting 11 is we have Wheatley on the bench, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if Xerxes is just coming back further and further, like deeper into the game, I think that tells you that you need another outlet. So I would maybe take Rashford out and put either put Rashford next to Xerxes in that spot where he hates playing, or take him off and put Wheatley on for that top spot. I know it's a big call.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of that actually. I was thinking of like playing Rashford, Xerxes, Garnacho, Ahmad, but then it would be like Bruno and Maino in the middle. It wouldn't work. So
yeah, I think Bruno, I guess he has to play.
Bruno has to play for sure.
He has to play, so he's a given. But I think the front three you could chop and change and hopefully like something good would come out of it.
I don't get why we never tried, like we tried, Ten Hag has tried that before, but like why Bruno doesn't play closer to the midfield? He's always up top. You remember, I don't know, not last season, the season before when Bruno actually played as a 6.
Yeah.
Versus Everton home.
It actually worked out, didn't it?
He was actually very good.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, it was like amazing. So
because he had the space.
Exactly, and he has an eye for the pass. He can play the long pass, the short pass.
Yeah. So, no pace to get back, but he would try.
Yeah,
but if he got
has
beaten,
an engine on him, so like he keeps on running. So
I don't know. I think whatever team you put out there, Ten Hag has got to get a tune out of them, so to speak. He has to have them fired up, and he has to have them committed to taking risks. Because I feel like the Liverpool game was. It said a lot of the reports that I read. It said that they were like too risky with the things that they did. I don't think it was that. I think they were too conservative in what they was doing, and when they had the ball, then they tried to take risks. So it was like it was the worst of both worlds.
Yeah.
Like because they weren't progressing the ball, and then when they were like they weren't pressing enough, and then they just kept getting caught. I think for this game, I think he just needs to tell them like. I'm sure he does go out there and win, but also like go out there and just do what you do, like give them some freedom to play their game, because whatever's happening now, none of the players are responding to it. None of the players seem to be responding to whatever the tactics are. From the defence and goalkeeper, you can see what's supposed to happen. From midfield to the attackers, all bets are off. You just don't know what's going to happen out there.
So, score predictions?
I'm going to say a really dismal 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to say 0-0.
Oh,
yeah. I don't see either team scoring, to be honest. Both of them can score.
But then, okay, I am semi-convinced that if he doesn't get a result out of this game, I think he'll be gone.
I don't see it.
Not next week, but I think the countdown will begin.
It has begun already. Like, I think so. For sure.
Since he didn't sign a new contract, since he just got an extension on his old one.
That was always the risk you're taking when giving him the extension.
True. So there we have it. That's the end of the very first Fergie's Gun podcast. So thanks for listening. If you did listen, if you didn't, you can listen next time. Oh, but you won't hear this message, so that'll be weird. But yeah, we'll be back again next week.
Yes.
Yes, or in 2 weeks' time, depending on our schedules. So yeah, thanks for listening and goodbye.